Is your 2x2 feeling kind of sluggish and slow? Are you fighting the cube on every turn, feeling it grind and catch when it used to be smooth? You might think you need to drop a bunch of money on a new Speedcube to get faster, but you probably don't. The real secret to a faster, smoother, and more controllable puzzle is just a proper deep clean and Relube. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it step by step. This whole process is going to completely transform your cube. I'm talking about taking it apart from a gritty, sandy mess to something that feels buttery smooth and wickedly fast. The best part? It costs you almost nothing and is one of the most satisfying things you can do for your cube. So before you splurge on the latest model, let's see what the cube you already own is truly capable of. So, how does a cube even get slow? Well, every time you solve it, a little bit of grime builds up. Tiny particles of plastic wear off from friction. Dust from the air gets inside. Oils from your hands work their way into the mechanism. And if you lubed your cube before, that old lube eventually breaks down and mixes with all that other gunk, creating a thick, gritty sludge. And all that gunk, it's the ultimate enemy of a fast cube. It doesn't just make the cube feel slow and bumpy, it can also cause unnecessary wear on the plastic over time. A clean cube is a happy cube, and a happy cube is a fast cube. What we're about to do is hit the reset button, giving your puzzle a fresh start and making it feel better than new. The change you'll feel after a deep clean isn't small. It's a huge difference you'll notice on the very first turn. Before we start the operation, let's get our tools together. It's a simple list, and you probably have most of the stuff at home. First, paper towels or microfiber cloth. I'm going to be using one wet and one dry, one to wipe it down and one to dry just to keep the pieces dry so the magnets don't rust. You're also going to want some kind of way to take apart the cube. Since I'm using a GAN 251, it uses tension nuts as a tension system. If your cube has screws instead, get a screwdriver to get rid of those. You might also want a soft toothbrush just to get into all the little cracks, but since this cube is pretty simple in design, I'm not going to be using one today. And finally, at the end of the cleaning session, you're going to want to re-lube your cube. So I'm going to be using FC Calm, FC Rush, and some Stardust to lube my cube. You guys can lube your cube however you guys want. So now for the disassembly. What you want to be sure is you don't want to be scared of taking apart your cube, otherwise you're not going to be able to do it. If you have screws, you just want to take all the screws out and then just pop everything out. If you guys have like a GAN model like me, it should come with an adjustment tool box like this one, which has extra nuts and it has the tool in the middle. So this thing right here is how you take apart the cube on a GAN model, on a GAN 2x2 model. So basically, the tension nut inside has 3 notches that should just click right in, push it down, and then you twist it into the open slot. So on the GAN nuts, they have 3 settings. One, which is like the one with the circle and with like a cross through it, is the setting that if you put it on, that's the setting at which the cube is going to pop out. So now you just want to take these nuts out of all 6 sides of the cube. Well, as you can see, the cube's already falling apart since the cube, when it pops out, like half the cube can just pop out. But even after that, you can still take out. This actually probably makes it easier to like take out the rest of the nuts. And there go 2 more pieces. Now, as you can see, the core is mostly disassembled, but I want you to pay attention to one thing. Usually it's going to be the corner with the logo on it, but if you look very carefully, you can see that you can't actually pop this corner out because there are pieces of plastic connecting these internal edges with the center pieces. So this is the piece that's going to be permanently on because this is the piece which the entire cube revolves around. And this is also the piece that's stationary, which allows for the actual operation of a 2x2, otherwise a 2x2 just simply wouldn't work. Now, if you really want to take this out, if you're willing to risk popping off half of the edge piece, and then you can somehow squeeze the other bit out, put this back together. As you can see, there's a hole. That's where the pieces of that's where the bits of plastic on the center caps go through. So if you're really desperate about taking apart your cube, you're going to want to pop out all these edge pieces by breaking them in half and then pulling them out. And then once these are detached, you can also pull out the center pieces. This is a step I would recommend for more advanced cubers who are more familiar with the mechanism of a 2x2, since as a beginner, it's going to be very easy for you to accidentally break something or lose a piece, which you also don't want to do. So, see this center cap now pops off. You got to make sure these edge pieces are actually the same as the rest. They all have the little hole, though you only need 3 of them to attach there. But these 3 center pieces have to go in with all the tabs facing each other, and the other 3 don't have tabs. So that's one thing to keep in mind when reassembling the cube later. So let me grab a flathead screwdriver just to pry this last piece apart. There we go. Now, as you can see, this is the core with the again ball core as well, and then the entire cube is taken apart. I'll be releasing a video later on the mechanism of 2x2s and 4x4s and all other even number cubes to explain why there's so many internal pieces and it's not just 4 corners. But for now, you just have to deal with the fact that there are pieces, and assembling it is going to be about the same as reassembling a 3x3. So if you haven't already, go get one of your microfiber towels, damp, not wet. You don't want it to be dripping water, otherwise the water is going to get inside the puzzle and start rustling some pieces. If you have, this is especially important if you have like magnetic or magnets on the cube, since like as you can see in this internal edge, there's a magnet in there and you just don't want water getting in there. So what you want to do is, I'm going to demonstrate an edge and then a corner. It's pretty simple. Just take an edge, just like wipe it down with a wet cloth. If you have a toothbrush, you might want to consider getting into the track to clean that out. And then once you've wiped it down with the wet cloth, take your dry cloth and then just dry it to make sure that there's no water in there. And then this piece is clean. There's no lube on it. There shouldn't be any grime, no dirt, no dust. It should be a perfectly clean 2x2 piece. For the corners, just want to do the same thing, but like you want to get underneath the track, get in there. You can do this with a towel as well. You don't need a toothbrush for this, since it's relatively large opening. So like I can fit my finger in there and just get under there. Just wipe it down. And then once you've wiped it down, just take the wet cloth and dry it really well. Now for the center pieces, just want to take like a corner of the cloth, just like get right in there, wipe it down the outside, make sure there's no lube on it. Make sure you don't break the tabs, that's going to cause some bad stuff. And then just do the same, just wipe it down. And now you just want to repeat the same process for the rest of your pieces. Okay, so now that we're done wiping down the pieces, it's time to reassemble the cube and then lube it. First thing you want to do is, there goes a piece. First thing you want to do is reassemble the piece the corner that's stationary. So I'm gonna take these centers, there we go, that's number 2, and let's see, can I find the third one? There we go. Oops, lack of brain cells. Wait, so I actually have to put these on in a certain direction. Nope, never mind, I don't. Okay, let's see. We're gonna take apart another one of these edges once I grab my screwdriver. Wrong screwdriver? Nice. Now, so 2 of them are facing the right way. And then we can just do something like this. Fit this in there. Take that, put that in there. And then, let's see. That'll pop that. And there you go, 1 in. So we're gonna do 1 more. And that's number 2. So now what you want to do is take the corner and put it in here before you do number 3, because once you do number 3, it's going to lock in the positioning of the corner. Let's pop open a third one. And there we go, now this corner's in there. This cannot fall out. So, how do you reassemble the rest of the cube? First, you're going to want to put in the tension nuts here. And then you're going to want to do the other 2 as well. It just keep the cube in position and so it doesn't flop around as much. See, now that's stationary, it won't wobble around anymore. So we're going to put in these 2 center caps next. Well, not center caps, centers, because there are no caps on a 2x2. Since I like my cubes fast, I'm setting all the tensions on purple nut 0.8. So I think that would be the fastest setting possible for a GAN 2x2. Okay, there you go. Now you got to keep in mind that these edges, so you're going to want to put this in, so it's kind of like building a 3x3 except with hidden edges. So here's 1 more. And then plop in the corner pieces. Make sure the corner pieces are in the right order, otherwise you're going to end up with an unsolvable cube, and nobody likes that, do they? Okay, so now that we got that in 3 years later, just place 3 edges like you would in a 3x3, and then it's just a matter of building outwards like you would in a 3x3. But unlike a 3x3, while you do this, you got to make sure that put the edge magnet in beforehand so you don't forget about them later. Then the last bit. there. Place that in there. Place that in there. And then just pop that in. And now, you're probably wondering about this. You just pry it open. Hopefully don't lose pieces. And then just like, hopefully without blowing up the entire thing, just place it right in there. So now that center cap is final nut, stick it on here, pry this open, and just put that in there, rotate it until it goes in. Is that in? Nope. Is it? There we go. Set to the right setting. Yes, it is. Well, it's that setup. You might notice it's pretty darn loud. So, what we're gonna do is set this up. Let me grab my lube real quick. So, like I said earlier, Stardust, FC Comp, FC Rush. So, well, you probably notice it's loud, so let's just quickly put a couple drops like in that crack there, so it gets onto the tracks as well. There, put 2 drops here, and just break it in. Two by twos are naturally loud because like you don't have many like the contact surfaces. You can't really lube, especially on a can cube, since it has the adjustment things there. So it's one of the things that makes it louder. But as long as you like the feel of it after lubing it, it's fine. I think I'm just gonna stick with this for now because, well, I like it. So. And there you have it. That gritty, slow, frustrating 2x2 is now a completely different puzzle. It should feel incredibly smooth, fast, and quiet. You've basically given it a factory reset and a professional setup all by yourself. You didn't have to buy a new cube, you just had to show your current one a little love. This deep clean and relube is one of the most effective things you can do to boost your cube's performance and hopefully your solve times. Thanks for watching. If this tutorial helped you revive your 2x2, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what a difference it made. Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials and donate to buy me some new cubes. Now go enjoy your lightning fast cube.